Okay, so today we'll start section 3, multiplying polynomials. To multiply two polynomials, you use the distributive property and multiply each term of one polynomial by each term of the other and add the resulting monomials. All right, so you've seen this before. And what's the acronym we use, Austin Farrell, when we're multiplying binomials? FOIL. And this sort of will remind you the order that you should multiply these so that you don't forget any. And it stands for first, outer, inner, last. And so I'm on my worksheet now. It says 57 at the bottom. And example 1 gives us a couple binomials. 2x plus 3y being multiplied by 5x minus 4y. And so when I multiply my first terms, I get 10x squared. When I multiply my last terms, I get minus 8xy.
It'd be minus 12.
No, I don't. I mean, minus 8. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8.
Yeah, but 3 times 4 is 12.
But I'm not multiplying a 3 anywhere.
Okay, never mind.
Well, that'll come next, if that's what you're talking about. So I have my inner terms here, and that's going to be 15xy. And then finally my last terms here, right? Which would be my negative 12y squared. Maybe that's where you were coming from.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have to remember to combine our like terms, and you get your whole answer. 10x squared plus 7xy minus 12y squared. Okay? And so they give you a bunch of those to do here. So everyone try number 11 on your paper, and then raise your hand when you have an answer.
Michael Moody has one. Mr. Sager, Michael Moody has an answer.
Okay. Well, why don't you give me yours if you have an answer? You already have the answer for 11, or are they calling you out? You do, okay. What's your answer?
What number are we supposed to be trying?
Number 11. Go ahead.
14y squared plus 35yz.
Well, so, okay. 35.
37yz.
37
Plus
YZ.
2yz. Then plus 5z squared. Does anyone have any questions on how I get that before I move on? This should all be pretty much review from Algebra 1. If you're not sure, speak now. Okay. So we're just multiplying some things and combining like terms. In example 2, they multiply a binomial by a trinomial, namely 3x minus 4 being multiplied by x squared plus 2x minus 5. Now when you're multiplying these, you have to remember, and sometimes it's easier for you if you draw the lines. So I'm going to multiply my 3x by everything, and then I'm going to multiply my negative 4 by everything. And that way I won't forget to do anything if I draw the lines. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 5 is minus 15x. Minus 4 multiplied by x squared is minus 4x squared. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. And negative 4 multiplied by negative 5 is positive 20. And so once you multiply all of your terms, you have to combine anything that's a like term. There's 3x cubed. But notice here I've got two terms that have x squareds in them. And when I add 6 and subtract 4, if I'm just adding or subtracting the coefficients, I'll get 2 of my x squareds left. Notice that if I also combine my minus 15x and my minus 8x, I have minus 23x. And then my 20 is just left over there. So it's really not any different except for that you have more terms to multiply when you have a binomial by a trinomial. Let's try one of these. Everybody try it on your own. Let's do number 17. I'm going to do number 17. Raise your hand when you have an answer. You have an answer? Okay, wait till everyone else gets it and then we'll call. Who has an answer? Raise your hand. Jared, Sun Young. The rest are Claire. Everyone else is still working. Maggie's got an answer. See. Do you have an answer, Megan, or are you still working on it? Okay. Start with your lines. Okay. Multiply your x squared by both things. Then your 3x by both things. Then your 5 by both things. Okay. Notice when you multiply, for a little hint, you see how you have 3 terms here? This is a trinomial, you have 3, and here you have 2. If you multiply 3 times 2 together, you get 6. That tells you you're going to have 6 monomials that you're going to combine at the end. Okay? Give one more minute here for some people who are still working. Do you have an answer, Sam? Okay. Do you have an answer, Crystal?
I think
You think? What do you got?
x squared plus 8x minus 5.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When you're multiplying an x squared by 2x, that's your first one, you're going to have something with x cubed because you're adding your exponents. How about you, Austin Farrell? Do you have an answer?
2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 13x minus 5.
Minus 13.
7 plus 13x.
Plus 13x. And what do you have for at the end?
Plus 13x minus 5.
Minus 5. That's what I have.
Yeah, that's 19.
All right. So look, guys. X squared times 2. Let me get a different color. X squared times 2x. 2x cubed. X squared times negative 1 minus x squared. Then I move to this term. I'm going to multiply this by both of those. Minus 6x squared and plus 3x. Then I move on to my 5. Plus 10x minus 5. And then I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that I have the right number of stuff. Okay. There's only one term with an x cubed in it. But notice I have 2 terms with an x squared in it. Minus 1 minus 6 is minus 7. I have 2 terms with x's in it. Plus 3 plus 10 is plus 13. And then the minus 5. Does anyone have a question on that before I move on? Okay. And you know, and I don't think it does here, but you could keep going. I could multiply trinomials times trinomials, and I'm not going to do that because it's a long example, it'll be a lot of writing for you. But if I was multiplying, for example, this, let's do x squared plus 2x minus 1 multiplied by 3x squared minus 4x plus 6. You could multiply those, and I'm not going to take the time, but notice, I would multiply this one times everything, and then this one by everything, and then this last one by everything. And how many terms would I have total before I started combining, Jared? 9. Good. So as I multiplied everything over, I have 9 different things to combine. And then you could keep going. They could give you, you know, something with 6 terms, multiplied by something with 6 terms. It would just get to be more math. But it's the same concept. Okay, you're just going to multiply every factor by every factor. All right. Now they give you some things here where they give you quantities squared. And really this isn't too tricky, but for some reason this tends to trip students up. So for example, I'm looking at number 21 here. I have y plus 6 squared. And this, sometimes when you see this, it'll trip you up. And some of the mistakes students will make, well, they'll put the y in here and say this is y squared plus 6 squared. And that's not true, because these aren't being multiplied. This isn't a power of a product. This is a sum, not a product. So that's wrong. But if you just, when you square something, you're multiplying it by itself. So if you just write it out, y plus 6 multiplied by y plus 6, then you won't really have much trouble, because it's really just now FOIL again. And they give you some special rules on your sheet here to find the answer. And you can memorize those rules if you want. And it tells you there, for example A up above, x plus 2 squared. And then it tells you that you can just fill in A and B and do that. I don't like to memorize those formulas, and that's fine if you do. To me, it's easier to draw them out. Y plus 6 times y plus 6, and then just FOIL it out. First, outer, inner, last, and then combine. So if you want to learn, memorize that rule, you can, but I think it's easier when you're squaring a binomial to just draw it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we please do number like 31?
I can. I hope.
Like 30.
Let's see. So they're just adding a little bit more steps to them. So g plus 6, g minus 6. Well, note one thing. Multiplication is commutative. So you have two options. You can distribute the g into here, and you would get a larger binomial. So you could say, for example, call this g squared plus 6g, and then, okay, g, there we go, it's not a 9. And then multiply this by g minus 6. You could do that. And then you'd have your first, g cubed, your outer, your inner, and your last, minus 36g. And combine that to g cubed. Notice those will cancel out, minus 36g. You could do that. I think it would be easier not to do that. I think it would be easier to do it the other way. And number 31 is g plus 6, g minus 6. I think it's easier to multiply these two first. Okay? So I would, if it was me, I would do it the other way. Then you have your first, and it's going to be minus 36. And then distribute your g in afterwards. G cubed minus 36g. Multiplication is commutative, so you can do in either order, but I think the second order would be easiest, right?
You wait, so you didn't have 4 terms.
That's just because I combined them. I know when I did my outer it was going to be minus 6g plus 6g. That's going to cancel out to 0, so I didn't write them. So this in between here is plus 0. Here, if I did FOIL, g times g is g squared. My outer is minus 6g. My inner is plus 6g. And then minus 36.
Okay.
But the plus and the minus cancel out, so I didn't bother writing that step. So, but there would be 4 terms. Okay, so I think it's easier to do it this way.
Alright,
Okay?
so you for us to do that?
Whatever way you get the right answer. You know,
Easier
you
way.
get the right answer either way. I think it's easier to do it that way. Now, this rule is sort of nice to know because when you do have the minus like you just had, what you're going to have is you're going to have. Well, let's do it out here so you can see it. So what am I going to have here? A squared minus AB minus AB plus B squared. So when you have A minus B and you're squaring it, whatever those numbers are, you're going to have the first one squared and the last one squared, and in the middle, you're just going to combine them. So you have two of them. So this is always just 2AB. And I'm trying to think, I think that's all there is in this section. So let's do some more examples. I don't think there's anything tricky. Let me just double check the homework and see if they ask you anything in a different way.
What's the homework on that?
They put it on the board.
Oh, I thought that was it.
What?
Oh, no, 175. Right.
All right. Put it on the board. It's still not clear, Mrs. Dominicus. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right. So 32 wasn't in the homework, so let me do that one. 32. Y squared minus 2y plus 1. Well, they do exactly what I told you. See, I said they're going to add, so they added a third one on, so you'll have 9 terms here for 32. This is a section B, so it's a little harder, but it really isn't any harder. It's just more terms. Okay, so let's do this one together. Megan, what am I going to do first? What will you get? Y to the fourth. What do I do next?
Multiply y squared by y and y squared by 1.
Well, so multiply the y squared by y. What am I going to get?
Y to the third.
Plus or minus? Plus y cubed. Then what?
Plus y squared.
Plus y squared. Good. What am I going to do next, Morgan? Plus or minus?
Minus 2y cubed.
Good. Then what?
Minus 2y squared. Minus 2y.
Good. And Courtney Thorne, what do I do next?
Like combine like.
Not yet. I've only got 6 terms. I have to have 9. I multiply this by everything, this by everything. Now what?
Do the last one.
Oh, so what am I going to get?
This plus,
Plus y squared
and then plus y,
plus y
and then plus 1.
plus 1.
This one.
Crystal, what am I going to do now?
Combine the like terms.
So help me do that. What am I going to write?
Y to the fourth. Wait, can you combine the y's to y cubed and negative 2y cubed?
Yeah, and what am I going to get?
So it'd just be y cubed
Plus or minus?
minus.
Because you know you have negative 2 plus 1. Okay, then what?
Plus y.
Plus or minus? I didn't hear.
Plus.
Not plus. Look, you have a minus 2 plus 1.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the other y.
We're going to do them in decreasing order, so go ahead.
Then squared.
Okay, then what? Oh, wait, we have 3 of those, don't we? I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't s-
that's.
All right, I didn't see the other one. I'm
Hey, what
sorry.
were we doing? Why are you writing all that stuff?
I'm combining like terms.
Yeah, but we still have another cube.
You had what?
Because y cubed minus 2y cubed. Y cubed minus 2y cubed. Yeah, they match. Yeah, cubed.
I wrote that. That's minus y cubed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, the y squareds again, Crystal. I'm sorry.
Um,
So plus 1 minus 2 plus 1. So plus 2 minus 2. So there is no y cubed. There are none. Okay. All right. Good. Now what?
Minus y.
Minus y plus 1. Does anybody have any questions on how we got that? If you're lost, where did you get lost? It's okay. Just tell me what step.
Wait. Never mind, because y squared plus y squared 2y squared and minus 2y squared and minus 2.
Okay. Let's see. Everyone do number 47 in your book. On page 176 in your book, number 47. Do that on your paper, and then I'll call on you to get the answers.
We don't have a 47.
In your book?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the book. Page 176, number 47.
I know.
Make sure I don't have a special book that you don't. So everybody's doing this. X squared plus 2x plus 2. You want to make sure you know how to do this in case you get a pop quiz or something tomorrow. You never know.
Don't.
X squared minus 2x plus 2. Everybody's doing this.
Doing the pop quiz tomorrow?
I didn't say that. I said you want to know how to do this in case you did get one. You never know when you might get one.
I know, but no.
I think most of this is review, except for maybe you didn't have, in Algebra 1, you probably didn't have a trinomial by a trinomial, that's all. But it's the same, it's all really the same procedure. It's really isn't that different. Is everybody working on this? Raise your hand when you get an answer. You got that, Michael? Did you get what I got? Okay, keep working on it until you get it, guys. If you have a question, make sure you ask.
See what you have to look forward to next year, Mr. Arnold.
Has everybody got it? Is there anybody still working? Raise your hand if you're still working. Okay.
He's scrapping power.
Of the people who are not working, did everybody get this answer?
Yeah.
It's easy? No questions?
I crushed it.
You crushed it? Okay.
Yeah.
Crushed it. We'll see. Yeah. Give you one more minute there. Does anybody have any questions on this section at all? Okay, everybody put your book away. Pull out a piece of paper, put your name on the top. I'm going to give you one problem to turn in on your way out the door.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're still working on it? It was, write it down, it was x to the fourth plus 4.
Whoa.
Put your books away, pull out a piece of paper, put your name at the top, and then turn this in on your way out the door.
Oh, you lied to me. You did. Where's the top quiz?
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, what? You can't do that. If you say, no.
You just learned something. It's just
You told,
ask questions?
no pop quizzes.
It's just multiplying.
All right, just one problem, and then put it on a sheet of paper, and just throw it in the box on the way out the door. Work on these separately, though, please. It's not a group project.
One girl finished in 4 minutes.
You can finish. You guys just finished the last one in less than 2. Everybody said they were
Can I
done.
put it on the
Except for you. Except for you.
Can I put it on the last night's homework? Back?
No, because then it'll be harder for me to go through it, and I'll have to hunt. I'd rather you just use it.
Just get out a new sheet of paper, put your name at the top, and do the problem. That's what you were told. Do that, please.
Why are we doing this?
Because you were asked to.
I want to see if everybody can really still do it, because everybody shakes their head and says yes, but then I don't know. And we go 3 chapters on, and then people don't really know. So I want to know if you really know how to do this. If you're done, just hold it. Hold it. Don't get up. When the rest of the class gets up, on the way out the door, you can put it in the box. If you're finished with the problem, pack up quietly.
Since you did it in class, you didn't check your work, did you? So you have no idea if they're right or wrong.
I trust you.
No, I don't trust you. You have to earn my trust.
I didn't work it out.
I think I need to call Mr. Snyder.
Is it right? I don't know.
I'll call him. Proves like that.
Mr. Snyder will come down on me. I tell him. You need to get your homework done before class.
Here, if you're done, raise your hand. I'll come around and collect them. If you're done.
What did I do with it?
The rest of you have 3 or 4 minutes. Don't worry, a couple minutes anyway. Don't forget to turn your...
What did you get, Claire?
Don't, it's not a group project. Settle down.
We're not changing our answers.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know, but you don't know what you got. There's somebody else up front here. Keep it all the same.
That's more of what I got. That's not what Michael got.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well,
Did I get everyone's over here?
Woody, you might have got it wrong.
Take your time. Still enough time? You all set? Anybody still working? Do I have everybody's? Do I have everybody's? All right, let's do the answer.
No.
Who don't I have? Oh. You guys gotta speak up.
Guys.
Take your time, no pressure. You grab that silver for me. All right, y to the fourth times y squared is y to the sixth minus 2y to the fourth minus 3y to the fourth plus 6y squared plus y squared minus 2. Y to the sixth minus 2 minus 3 minus 5y to the fourth plus 6 plus 1 plus 7. Was this a y, right? Y squared minus 2.